Hi, I'm Pam Tenyus. Welcome to Volusia Magazine. On our program today, Holly Smith will preview the upcoming Jets Over DeLand, where the airplanes are small but the competition is great. And Dave Byron will be talking to Volusia County's new council chair, Jim Ward. We'll find out what the important issues will likely be and how Mr. Ward plans to lead the council through the next year. We'll see that in Dave's in-depth interview coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a look at how the 2000 version of the Volusia County Council was defined. Jim Ward from District 2, as we mentioned earlier, was named chair. Dwight Lewis from DeLand will serve as vice chair. Ward, the vice chair last year, has served on the county council since January of 1997. His public service record includes elected positions in the city of Port Orange. Ward, a retired pharmacist, said he's excited about being the first chairman of a new century.
It's a real honor to, first of all, to be elected, and then to be selected by those up here to sit in the center chair, and especially, I guess it's a little more significant, the first term of a new century, and I guess it's just special. I think that if we all work together, we can have a really good year. But it personally means a lot to me, and I think that all we need to do this year is just work hard and show respect for each other, and I think we'll have a great year.
Lewis, a retired business owner, said he's looking forward to serving as Ward's vice chair. He was seated on the county council in November of 1998.
I think we've got a big year ahead of us, a tough year. We need to select the best county manager that we possibly can select to help us move this county forward. I think that we'll do that. I'm looking forward to next year and being a good year for Volusia County.
The county council elected its leadership January 6th, the first meeting of the new year. The county council also agreed to stick with its long-standing tradition of holding regular meetings the first and third Thursdays of the month at the Thomas C. Kelly Administration Center here in DeLand. Votran's retro-styled trolleys have returned to Atlantic Avenue in the greater Daytona Beach area. The trolleys operate from noon until midnight, Monday through Saturday, from Granada to Dunlawton Avenues. Votran trolleys serve beachside tourists and people who live and work in that area, according to Votran General Manager Ken Fisher.
What we've done with the trolleys is keep the trolleys on A1A. A lot of the service that we operate on the beach side will go back and forth from the beach side to the mainland. So there's no direct service on A1A when the trolleys are not operating. So when the trolleys are operating, it provides you direct service in the core beachside area between Granada and Dunlawton. So it's convenient in terms of it provides direct service. There are no transfers that have to be made. It's simple to understand and to utilize.
Votran is offering a special one-way fare of 10 cents to kick off the first week of trolley service. Beachside tourist accommodations, restaurants, and nightclubs have been asked to assist Votran in promoting trolley ridership among their patrons and employees. Regular one-way trolley fares are $1. Disabled riders, seniors 65 or older, and persons under 18 can ride one-way for only 50 cents. Further information about trolley service can be obtained by calling Votran at 761-7700. Volusia County Senior Lifeguard David Dickinson said the tide comes and goes almost everywhere around the world, but the management of beaches and the types of issues presented may vary widely. To learn more about different styles of beach management, Dickinson and Senior Lifeguard Jan16 will trek to Avoca Beach, Australia, in what's being billed as a lifeguard exchange program.
And the one thing they have over there that I would like to initiate is called a surf club. It is like an alumni, and their second spectator event in the whole nation is lifeguarding events. Everybody's geared towards the ocean. It surrounds their whole continent, and there's a lot of people that used to be lifeguards that may be doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs now that are very interested in providing people with an opportunity to learn about the ocean. And that is one of the best things I like about Australia, in that they're kings over there. The lifeguards, they need them on every coast, all the way around the country, and it's a big deal.
Dickinson said the guards will be looking at methods of beach funding, telecommunications, and flag usage, protection of endangered aquatic life, beach terrain and erosion will also be explored.
When we get over there, we'll be looking at funding, how large their beaches are, what their personnel, how many there is, what kind of training that they have. Our beach is kind of special. We do have a traffic lane. I don't believe we'll be running into cars on the beach over there.
Australian lifeguards have made 2 trips to Volusia beaches. During their last trip, Hurricane Bertha provided an extra educational experience when the guards were evacuated from their beachside hotel. During the 19-day exchange, Dickinson and Anderson will take part in 2 local lifeguard competitions. They will go up against their Australian counterparts in the Run, Swim, Run, the Rescue Board Race, and possibly the Ironman competition.
We've had such a great rapport over the last 4 years with them. That's why we want to go over there. We want to show them that we can still compete, or at least try, and basically learn a lot about their beaches, what they do as far as their life-saving goes. I mean, I think our EMS system is a little bit more advanced now that we've got new defibrillators and ventilators in our units, and we're trained professionally on how to use that particular type of equipment, and you know, just something we can exchange with them while we're over there.
Volusia will not be vying for medals, but will be participating to see where they can come in. Dickinson and Anderson have been Volusia lifeguards for over 24 years and have won national lifeguard competition medals. Each will be self-funding the trip and will return home February 9th. Avoca Beach is 90 minutes north of Sydney in New South Wales on the east central coast of Australia.
I'm Holly Smith, and we're at the DeLand Airport checking out the model planes. It's called Jets over DeLand, and that's exactly what it is. But instead of full-sized aircraft, these are scaled-down models. Now, they may be a lot smaller than the real thing, but all of them fly. Some even have miniature turbine engines. One of the most popular competitions is the speed trap. That's where a model is taken to a high altitude. It then dives and levels off quickly to try to achieve the highest speed. A person on the ground uses a radar to clock the aircraft, and some have reached speeds of 200 miles per hour. Well, I wanted to try my hand at the speed trap, but as you can see, I didn't do so well, but all's not lost. You see, there's a prize for the worst crash. It's a new model plane kit, and I think I'm going to need it.
Over 100 competitors come out to participate in the annual event, some from as far away as Canada, Europe, and South America. Why is it that you come all the way from England to participate in something like this?
Well, it's really a vacation or holiday for the time of year, get away from the poor weather, because we can't fly very often this time of year in the UK. So, and just a bit of fun, you know.
What is it that would make you guys pour money into these planes? I mean, I've been told some of them cost $2,000 and up. Yeah. What's the attraction?
Well, it's anything that's difficult is interesting. You can have a radio-controlled car which drives around, and you achieve nothing. You can buy one ready to go. You can't buy one of these ready to go. The easiest way is to buy a kit of parts and assemble it. And you know, it's then against the elements. You've got to fly it, and the unpredictability of flying.
Al Tuttle is the director of the competition. Mr. Tuttle, are all of the flyers that come out here doing this as a hobby, or are some of them serious competitors?
They're serious competitors, but actually this is what we call a jet together. They get together to fly, and camaraderie and flying their airplanes. It's more of that than it is a competition. But a lot of these people, we got businessmen here that make a living building these airplanes and flying them. And but the 95% of them here are people like you and I. It's a hobby, it's a sport, and it's a big sport. And they're here to have fun, and they do.
These planes are beautiful. What kind of a price tag do they carry?
I hate to admit it, but it's very expensive. You could spend anywhere from $1,200 to $10,000 on these, depending which way you want to go. In the background here, you may hear a turbine running. They have actual miniature turbines, like the full-size jet airplanes. They're very expensive. A turbine will run you around $3,800 just for the turbine alone. And then the control equipment that controls the turbine is more money. So that's the state of the art.
You guys have been holding this competition about 9 years now. How has it changed over the years?
Great progress. In fact, 3 years ago was the first turbines that came out, and if they got one to run long enough, you know, to get a flight, it was a miracle. Now they're flying them, you know, every day with no problems. And the equipment is getting better. It's like everything else. Technology gets better and better and better, just like your computers. You can't keep up with it.
Jets Over DeLand will be held Thursday, January 27th and run through Sunday the 30th. Gates open at 9 in the morning. Tickets are $3 for adults, and kids under 12 get in free. Now, there will be more radio-controlled aircraft the following weekend when the Winter Festival of Giants flies into town. These planes are big. We're talking at least a quarter scale or larger. Now, they're called Giants because some of them have a fuselage of up to 9 feet and a wingspan of 6 feet. There will be barnstorming planes and models from World War I and II. Jets Over DeLand and the Winter Festival of Giants will be held at the Sperling Sports Complex near the DeLand Airport. To get there, take 92 to Marsh Road and follow the signs. I'm Holly Smith, checking out the model planes at the DeLand Airport, and that's what's happening in Volusia here and now.
Daytona Beach International Airport. Our flights provide access to the world.
Discover and experience real Florida on a visit to Blue Springs State Park. With a variety of activities to explore, the main attraction is the spring itself. The 72-degree year-round temperature in these crystal clear waters attracts swimmers and scuba divers. The spring has a 120-foot depth available to those divers who are certified and with a partner. During spring and winter months, the Blue Springs play a more vital role, tending to the survival of the endangered manatee. The manatee migrate here to seek the safety and comfort of these warm waters. Swimming in these clear waters is kept separate from the manatees, as is fishing and canoeing. The activities offered in this natural wonderland are as endless as they are enjoyable. The beauty of this majestic paradise can be seen from the extensive wooded trails and observation decks located throughout the park. Blue Springs also offers tent or cabin camping, fishing, picnicking, and canoeing on the St. Johns River. An abundance of information on the land, the springs, and of course, the manatee is available to you from park guides or from your own self-guided exploration. Blue Springs State Park, located in Orange City.
And Dave Byron is ready with his interview with the new Volusia County Council Chair, Jim Ward. We'll learn more about Jim's past service to the community and how he views his new role with the County Council. So let's go now to Volusia County Community Information Director, Dave Byron.
Pam, the 2000 Volusia County Council is off and running. At the first meeting of the year on January 6, Jim Ward of Port Orange was elected this year's County Council Chair, and Dwight Lewis of DeLand was elected the Vice Chair. The County Council on January 27th will hold its annual goal-setting session where the priorities for the year will be established. With us today for a look ahead is Volusia County Council Chair Jim Ward. Jim, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Dave. It's nice to be here.
Well, Jim, congratulations, brand new chair for the year 2000. As you said on the radio the other day, first chair of the new century.
It's kind of exciting. It's a real honor to be selected by your counterparts to sit as the chair of the County Council.
And you've kind of moved along in your career. Of course, you had a long tenure with the city of Port Orange, and now you're at the county level. Your thoughts, Jim, on your role as the chair this year?
Well, I think the chair, as in most years, is just of course, you know, as we all know, we only get one vote, but I think I need to show a leadership role as far as the chair is concerned, keeping things moving along, especially council meetings, get everything under control and keep moving. Then there is a leadership part of this chairmanship. So I hope to show that and just keep things moving.
And I think most people, when they look at county government, Jim, look at the county council. Of course, you're one of the bigger agencies out there, the county and the school board, so I think they look to the county for some county-wide leadership.
That's true. It is I guess as elected officials go, it is one of the higher positions can be held, and I'm honored by it.
Jim, switching topics for a second here, about a week before you became chair, you got the news that Larry Arrington was resigning as the county manager. Did that come as a surprise to you?
Absolutely, and I think this will be a big part of our beginning of the year. The way I see this process going, if you want me to get into that a little
absolutely,
bit,
yeah.
is, as you know, last week we instructed the staff to go out for RFQs for a firm to help select or screen the potential candidates for the manager's job. We expect to see those back by early February, and then we will give him about 60 days after we select one to advertise for RFQs for the position of county manager for Volusia. That's a pretty aggressive time frame, but I think in 90 days we hope to be looking at somebody, a few candidates for the county manager's position. And because we want to get this process moving, we do not want it to be drug out over a long period of time.
Last time, I think we remember we went through this, it was 17 months, a whole bunch of money, an awful lot of lobbying went on, and it was kind of an ugly process at a certain point there. And Jim, I hear you saying that this year you want to, get this thing out there, get it done, and get it behind the council.
Absolutely, we don't want to get this political, like I'm afraid it's happened in the past. There was a lot of lobbying going on by some of the members out there and some of the public, and we want to keep that out of it. We want a professional manager with a new set of eyes to look at Volusia County government.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Of course, you have one vote, but as you think about the kind of person that you think would be a good county manager, what are the kind of the qualities or some of the things that you think that person would have to bring to the job?
Well, I want him to be outgoing. I want him to be able to deal with the public. I want him to have a lot of experience. I want him to be able to look at the budgetary process with a clean set of eyes, as we said, and the priorities that we set, we expect him to follow through on.
And no question, Jim, that obviously this is going to be the highest priority for the county council. And what I hear you say is that there'll be some assistance perhaps from a professional selection firm, and then candidates will be presented to the county council for some type of interview and then a selection process. Do you see this is a job that will attract national candidates, Jim?
Yeah, we want to do a national search. There are a lot of good local candidates that are potential good managers, and we hope they apply.
Sure. Yeah.
But we need to see what kind of talent there is out there and who wants to apply nationally, because we don't want to exclude anyone who would do a good job for Volusia.
I would think, Jim, that Volusia County's reputation as a high-quality government, Florida being an attractive place to live, so forth, I would think that this would be a job that would be pretty attractive for manager candidates.
Absolutely. We're the 10th largest county in the state. We have 430,000 citizens in Volusia County, and it's a good position.
How about the interim, Jim? Do you see the status quo until the county council gets a new manager on board? How do you see that transitioning?
Yeah, I just see us kind of following the status quo. Ray Pennybaker has agreed to serve as interim manager, and I think Ray will do a good job.
Ray, of course, has been around for 25 years or plus, and he certainly knows the ins and outs of county government. So, again, it must give the county council a good feeling to have a person who can just kind of, hold things together while this process takes place.
That's absolutely correct, and that's what Ray wants to do.
Let's look at January 27th. The county council has a goal-setting session, Jim. That's kind of when you put it all together and decide what the priorities for the year will be. No question, selection of the county manager will be a high priority. What are some of the other priorities, Jim, that you see on the table?
Well, there are a lot about there. Every year this time of year we have a goal-setting session, and all the council members come with their priorities. Last year we had a very aggressive year. It was really busy. I think other than workshops and all the meetings we went to, we had about 3 or 4 Thursdays that we did not either have a workshop or a council meeting, and then goals we had set, working on those goals.
It was kind of like riding an alligator's tail, you know. I mean, it was a busy year.
It was busy, and it takes a toll on not only us but the staff. This year, I hope to see us back off a little bit, follow through with what we started last year. There's a few of them that didn't get completed. Of course, everybody's list is going to contain economic development, of course, which we continue to work on. And there are some good things out there that we could follow, such as the 472 Activity Center. We need to get some infrastructure, get all that started out there. The Marine Commerce Park south of Edgewater, Tomoka Industrial Park, all of those, and the airport, of course. We're looking at leasing part of that property out there again, as always. And there seems to be a good potential right there now for some good business and good jobs to come in. We, of course, will start following those.
Jim, you mentioned 472. For those viewers who may not be familiar with what 472 is, that's State Road 472 in southwest Volusia County. And I think what you're referring to is perhaps the infrastructure for an industrial park or a business park of some type.
That's correct. One of the problems that we have here in Volusia County, we do not have an industrial park that already has preset infrastructure, such as roads and water and sewer. And we need to do that. That really slows down a project when they decide to come to Volusia County. So we want to get those things set. We hope to have maybe spec buildings. I don't want to come out of it, but some of those things, and that's what we want for the 472 Center.
Seems to be the feedback that the county received from Cincinnati Bell Information Systems, which was a very hot prospect. We didn't get the prospect that went to Seminole County, but it seemed like one of the big factors there was that developed in Heathrow Industrial Park right there, ready to go.
Absolutely. We didn't, of course, get the Cincinnati Bell project, but we learned a lot from it. I think the manager and everybody involved did all they could do. We had a lot of money on the table.
That's right.
I think something like between hard and soft money, I think there was some close to $25 million on the table for Cincinnati Bell. But when you don't have a place for them to go, you know, it just doesn't seem to work. And that was one of the things we learned. We need to have an industrial park that has infrastructure in it.
One of the other items, Jim, I think that is key for the county is, of course, the environment, and right at the top of the list is the habitat, conservation plan, the lawsuit that is still active. Where do you see, how do you see that shaking out this year? Big court date in June.
Yeah, that comes up in June, and I think right now what everybody wants to see is it settled and over with so we can move on. But, of course, that all ties in with the beach, and I think the beach will be a high priority, at least on my agenda for the goals. And I know I've heard some of the other council members mention it out there, so I think that will be something that we'll be looking at as a goal to go through the beach and see how how we can improve that area.
The Beach Advisory Board, I think, is expressing a desire for a long-range plan. I hear the council saying that that's a good idea. So do you see a long-range plan being developed this year as one of the key items for the beach?
Yes, Dave. We've, of course, asked the Beach Advisory Board to go back and develop a long-range plan for the beach. We did that a few years ago under the old Beach Trust. I know Councilman Bruno and I both sat on the old Beach Trust, and we did a beach management plan that I guess sort of got set on the shelf for a while, but we've asked them to take that out, look at it, update it, and give us some long-term plans for the beach, and I think it's important that we do that.
And of course, Jim, no question that, water is another issue. There seems to be a lot of conversation about a county-wide strategic plan for water. Where do you think that will shake out?
The Volusia Water Alliance are working on a long-range plan, and the committee that was set up as part of the referendum last year for the voters, that one of those groups be formed that will look at long-term water usage, because I think that's going to be an extremely important, or everybody thinks it's going to be an extremely important issue for the growth and development of Volusia County.
Seems like if you look at other counties across Florida, Jim, and Volusia County may be catching up in this area, but other counties have faced some really tough decisions when it comes to long-range water management and having enough water and so forth. And we're just now, I think, beginning to hear the conversation that we could be in the same boat without some type of strategic plan.
That's true. And we need to get ahead of that curve. We don't want to be caught out there like some of them have, at least on the West Coast, where they just are really about to run out of water. And Volusia County's been very fortunate so far, and we need to get ahead of that.
course, one of the other things, you know, I don't know exactly what the county council can do other than monitor, but the courthouse construction is underway, the largest construction project in the history of the county, and of course the council wants to make sure that that project is built on time and within budget. So I suppose you'll be doing a lot of looking and monitoring of that project. Yes, we will. And one of the things they're doing out there is they're beginning to have tours so that the council and the general public can go look at that project every week. They're going to have 2 tours a week, and we will be looking at it as a council to be sure that it stays, as you say, on budget and on time. I know that you were very involved in the Local Government Study Commission, and of course the notion with that commission is that, you know, there's perhaps some gains to be had by working with the cities and looking at services and so forth. So I suppose that the relationships with the cities and other agencies, again, will continue to get some focus this year. Yeah, that's one of the things that I've determined to do as far as my year on the council as chair, to help heal some of those relationships between the municipalities and the county. I've already started and gotten the calendar set out to go visit every single council in the county, all 16 municipalities, just to welcome them in, introduce myself for those who don't know me, and tell how much we want to work with the municipalities. No question, Jim, if you look back at some of the successes that we've had, one of the common ingredients is that everyone is working and rowing in the same direction. So I would assume that that's where you're coming from, is that if we can all get our priorities together and cohesive and so forth, and remember that the cities are part of the picture, that I guess we'd all be better off for that. Absolutely, and I think I may have a little bit of advantage to that because I served with almost all of the mayors out there. When I was mayor of Port Orange and council member there for a few years, I was one of them, and I think that gives me a little different insight to municipal government. Sure. And we have a good relationship. I have a good relationship with all the elected officials. And that's so important, Jim. You know, no doubt this is going to be a very, very busy year. You know, you're kind of predicting a little slower path than last year, but I bet you it won't turn out to be that way. Nice try. It probably won't, but we're going to try. Good. Our guest today has been Volusia County Council Chair Jim Ward. Jim, again, congratulations, and you got the gavel. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Dave. And thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions regarding our program, please give us a call at one of the numbers you see on your screen. And don't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio program. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday morning on radio station WNDB 1150 AM and every Sunday morning at 6:30 on WHOG 95.7 FM. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Pam Tenyas. Have a great evening.